So I'm Sean Paul. I'm the Director of Safety and Security for Providence in the Western Montana service area. I'm a retired law enforcement officer out of Missoula, former military experience, SWAT experience, defensive tactics, use of force. And we're going to talk about that use of force. I have two goals for you when you leave here. One, I feel comfortable with when to use this product. Two, and this is why it's critical for us to go outside and practice this, is I feel comfortable with how to use the product. And Rex is right. This is that fight scenario of run, lock, fight. We don't expect you all to be martial artists and know how to physically engage a violent encounter. And keep in mind, we're talking about armed intruders. This is not classroom management. And we'll talk about that balance. So this is what we're talking about. It's Reflex Protect. This is a defensive chemical spray that is designed to be used. Stop, get back, stop, get back, stop, get back, stop, get back. Get down, get down, get down. So this is a live product demonstration. This is the product. He's been pepper sprayed. He's had other sprays done to him, so he knows what to expect. But this is a CS gel. We're now using something we will talk about called the decontaminant product. Something that is critical is how now do we take care of that person. Of course, if they're still being violent, still being aggressive, that's law enforcement. But maybe that's somebody who stood behind the assailant and got sprayed. Maybe that's your desk. Maybe that's your floor, your chair. I needed that in healthcare. How do I clean the physical environment? How do I clean the person so we can take care of them? We've timed this before. He's miserable right now. His partners are laughing. In about 2 minutes, unlike other decontaminants, he's going to start to say, okay, I think I'm going to survive this. In about 5 minutes, he's going to start to talk to us. Can I get a rag and some decontaminant for my hand, please? Spray.
How you coming? Getting better? Want to get up, sit down? Okay.
Tons of product, you guys. Tons of product.
Tons of product.
So, we're going to check in with Levi, who deserves a gold star after this, about his experience. Soak those towels and just keep blotting, and we'll talk about that. So let's go on and talk about the product, and we'll check in with Levi in a minute if he's not up at the hospital. This is good hospital business to send. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so how do you protect yourself? We're not going to teach you all how to fight, and there is a fight portion, a fight component of it, but I want you stopping people before they get into your personal space, because once they're inside your personal space, they can reach out and touch you and hurt you. As you saw, I was able to engage him at about 15 to 20 feet away. We want to do that to prevent that person from coming up to you. In use of force of law, for law enforcement officers, somebody with a knife, we have the right to shoot them within 21 feet because of that timing of closing that distance. I'm very hands-on with the front row. So that's why we designed a product for you to reach out and touch the person to close that distance.
If I needed to.
Okay.
Like, Doc,
He could function right now
Okay.
if he needed to.
Not now. Why don't you keep on cleaning? We'll check in with him when we get to it. So he just said right now, anybody been timing it? I would say it's about 4 or 5 minutes. He said right now I could function if I needed to. So he's starting to talk, etc. Pepper spray, that's an hour journey. That's an all-day journey, never mind when you take and shower. Law enforcement officers? Okay. So this is what we're going to talk about. First, I needed something that was safe to use. As you saw, I just used it. Here's something else. I sprayed this in here. If I sprayed pepper spray in here, everybody would be coughing, everybody would sneezing, your eyes and nose would be running, and we'd be outside.
There wouldn't be one person in this room.
No.
If he just went over and sprayed that wall and went that much, there wouldn't be one of us in here.
Sorry about
All of
spitting
you
back.
It's that.
Wow.
Yep. Good. Thank you, Sheriff. And that's the point. We just needed it specific to that person. So we have safe, we have effective. Levi goes, wow, you guys must really trust your product because I've been pepper sprayed, I've been able to fight through it, arrest people, and I have a pretty high pain tolerance from being pepper sprayed and doing all that stuff. You really think this is going to work? I said, let's try it. So there it was right in front of you guys. And I needed accurate. You saw I was able to, just like wasp spray, just like shooting a water pistol, engage him, and we needed something easy to use. And that's where we're going to talk about when we deploy this, the pistol-style spray grip that's easier to use than other types of sprays that are out there. And we'll show you how to and walk you through that. The other thing we need is people are like, well, this is just pepper spray. What's the difference between pepper spray and this CS gel? So first of all, it's used over in Europe all the time. It's used in riot-type situations. We haven't embraced it here because one of the very effective products for riot control, for law enforcement management, when you want to clear out a bar fight, has been pepper spray. But there's too much cross-contamination. You yourself have problems functioning if you haven't trained with it. So we needed to avoid that cross-contamination. On top of that, the pepper spray and the oils soak into things. Really, we'd be throwing out furniture, throwing out chairs, changing carpet, etc. Very hard to clean. This starts to self-dissipate in about 15 minutes. So that product on the floor that's been wiped up, that's on my hands, immediately starts to dissipate. I sprayed a little bit of the decon on my hands. I have no burning whatsoever. So we needed to clean itself up quickly, and as you can see, again, effective. Let's talk about when to use it. This is critical. We know it's not for classroom management. I know almost half of you got up when he said it was not for classroom management, but we'll tell you legally when to use it. And we have law enforcement in here in case they have any concerns with what I'm telling you. So first of all, let's identify an immediate threat, okay? Because that's when we're going to use this. First of all, you have to have all three of these. First of all, intent. The threatening subject must demonstrate an intent to inflict physical injury upon you or somebody else. So that is pretty much the person saying, I'm going to kick your butt. I have a knife like he had. I'm going to come in. I'm going to hurt people. I'm going to hurt you or others. That's my intent. Now, keep in mind, that can also be nonverbal. Couldn't he have walked in here with his head down and a knife in the hand and just come charging at me? So it doesn't have to just be verbal. That can be somebody clenching their jaw, making a fist, and getting ready to punch me. That's just as much as a physical threat as actually being punched. That is where we're trying to deter the physical assault before it gets to you. Means the threatening subject must have the physical capability to do this. This is a great example. We had a guy in the hospital, mental health issue. He was detoxing, very hard to deal with. He was 90 years old and 90 pounds. He told me he was going to kick my butt. He came after me like he was going to kick my butt, but I was pretty much able to do the hand on the head, yeah, okay, you're just going to wear yourself out. He couldn't physically hurt me, and we'll talk about threat factors based on my size, my training. So he didn't have the means to get to me. Opportunity. The threatening subject must have access to the person. This is a great example of we arrest people all the time, we put them in a holding cell, and we close the cell door. As soon as that cell door shuts, I'm going to kick your butt, you come in here, and I'm going to destroy you, blah, 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 threatening our family, everything. We can't touch them at all because they can't get to us. Now, the minute we open the door, typically they sit back down and want to cooperate, but if they charge after us, then we can engage them. So same thing, for those of you who are in an administrative type setting, and you can shut the door, you can shut a window, and the person can't get to you, then you don't have opportunity. Once they break the window and start to climb through it or bust down your classroom door to get into you, they then have opportunity. Any questions or concerns about what an immediate threat is, you must have all three. And we'll go over some scenario questions that paint this picture. Okay. You also have to look at the totality of the circumstances. What is the full picture based on your perception? Not my perception on Monday when I say what happened. You can't Monday morning quarterback. You can't 20/20 use of force. It has to be what that rational person thought at that time based on the totality of circumstances. So threat factors, combative skills. Do you know that that parent of that child just came back from Afghanistan and they're actually a SEAL and a really bad guy? By all means, they could hurt me. It's just an example. Age, gender, size, the 90-year-old man, 90 pounds, physical strength, multiple threats. Definitely 3 people come into your office and start to back you up and you have nowhere to go, and there's 3 of them, obviously a higher level of threat. And then perceived mental state. Here's a great example. I got in a fight with a guy as a police officer who seemed like an average guy. He was about 20 years older than me. He was probably about 5'10" and 180. At the time, I was 6'6", I was 26 years old, and I was 240 pounds, kickboxing and fighting all the time. The problem was, as I fought him, To arrest him, nothing happened to him. I even emptied a full can of pepper spray on him like this. I then broke out my expandable baton and started hitting large muscle groups. Nothing. He just continued to assault me and assault me and assault me. Finally, I took out my mag light, and there's going to be some of the officers in here who say, wow, that's a high level of risk. I then started using my flashlight and hitting him in the head. Because I was hitting exhaustion, I was getting hurt, I was starting to lose the fight. If I go down, he can hurt me, he can take my gun, he can kill me. Justified use of force because he didn't respond to any of my pain compliance. Why? He was on PCP. So that's that mental state. Influential factors. Proximity to a weapon. I'm going to kick your butt, I'm going to kick your butt, and they reach over and grab the pair of scissors on your desk and then come at you. So there's that weapon as they reach for it. Injury or exhaustion. One time while trying to arrest somebody, I had complete control of him. He was trying to resist, but I could totally take care of the person, put him in handcuffs. I fell over a curb and I dislocated my knee. The guy was then on top of me, starting to hit me, so then I could start to exchange blows and use my other defensive tactics to protect myself. So that elevated because I got hurt. Special knowledge, training, terrain, environment, confined space. All those things can be a threat factor that says, I sprayed him because I couldn't go anywhere else and I was starting to walk into the dark closet in the hallway. Obviously a risk of being isolated from other people to help me, and I wouldn't be able to defend myself. Just to give you a visual of when you're justified to use force, this is called the use of force diagram or matrix. This is from MOAB, Management of Aggressive Behavior. It's specific to civilians, not law enforcement. When somebody is showing high anxiety, I'm confused, I don't understand, why did Johnny fail? I don't understand this, why isn't he playing the sports? I'm really pissed off. That is somebody where we want to use dialogue. We want to use verbal, nonverbal de-escalation. But now the person becomes loss of physical control, whether that is with a weapon or without a weapon. That is when we can then use defensive tools. And that's what we're talking about today. This is a defensive tool to protect yourself or others from a threat and or physical injury. You don't have to be injured before you can use it. I can just threaten it. So let's go through some scenarios. Some of these I try to elevate so you can see the stair step in use of force. 6'6", 230-pound, fit male walks into the school. He begins to yell and become verbally aggressive, demanding to see the principal. He starts to throw and break things in this specific area. Is that a spray, don't spray situation? Don't spray. Not a physical threat to you. Has not come towards you. I'm up here and I can be pissed all I want and knock that over and break that and rip that down. But when it turns now towards you, now there's that physical threat. For example, while you're calling 911 to get help, the male jumps the counter, picks up a chair to hit you. That just changed. It went from here to I'm pissed, I'm upset, to now I'm coming after you. Does that make sense? I had one caregiver say to me one time, Sean, you know, I had this guy swinging at me over the counter, and I don't think that was a spray situation. I said, why? What happened? And she said, he swung once at me, missed. I kind of stepped back and said, Mr. Jones, please, it's okay. And he reached forward and swung again and missed. I said, well, how big was the guy? He said, well, you pretty much described him earlier. He was that 90-pound, 90-year-old guy. I said, so you weren't afraid to get hit and get hurt? Oh, no. I said, okay. Now I'm the guy at the counter, and I'm swinging. Oh, I would spray you. That's the difference, okay? During an assembly, a former student walks into and stands by the door. You see him pull out a 6-inch bladed knife and walk quickly towards other students. Spray, don't spray. Spray. That's what happened to Levi. Student becomes disruptive in a classroom, yelling and challenging another student to fight. Spray, don't spray. Classroom management, right? The two students begin to physically fight each other. Spray, don't spray. Classroom management, don't spray. Now it changes. This isn't a likely scenario. Could happen, but I'm trying to show you that stair step of when it changes. While trying to break up the fight, both students begin to physically fight with you. You fall down and dislocate your knee. As you crawl away and you get from the two students, you're able to grab your spray. The two students quickly advance on you with their jaws clenched and hand clenched. Spray. The two of them, multiple numbers, confined, you're down and hurt, and then the injury, you're obviously vulnerable. Spray situation. Again, not a likely scenario here with what you do, but is a possibility. Is a possibility anywhere that you are. It shows the elevation of threat levels. Any questions on when to use it? This is your time to ask those what-if questions. Yes, sir.
The previous slide, suppose one student's just getting a whooping, and we can't. The guy's too big for us to engage.
Yeah, and Rex and I actually talked about this one time, is you come into the room, somebody's just getting whooped on, another teacher's getting whooped on, and this guy is big, he's 220, he's heavy, you know maybe he's had some violent encounters in the school before, and I just don't have the physical stature to intervene, but I have to intervene because that other student, that teacher is getting a butt whooping. Spray. To prevent physical injury to yourself or others. Now, if I look at you and say, okay, this fifth grader who weighs 50 pounds isn't going to hurt you, you shouldn't have sprayed him. That's taking that totality of circumstances. Any other questions about when to use it? Let's talk about now the decontaminant. Let's quickly check in with Levi and see how his experience went with both. Levi, talk about the product and what your expectations were, what you thought, previous experience, and then also the decontaminant product, please.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I'll just say up front, it works very well. When Sean called me, I'm a natural skeptic, and he's like, yeah, we got this spray that'll put you down. I'm like, I bet it will. You know, I've been in CS before, pepper sprayed, tased a couple of times, and all of it, I'm kind of like, When he first hit me with that, it was very painful, and a little bit got in my mouth, and it got right on top of my throat. And when I hit the floor, I wasn't thinking of anything else except my next breath. I wanted this to be over. Like, the only reassuring thing in my mind was that there was all these people that said, we're going to make sure you're okay, because nothing felt okay about that. Yeah, it was bad. Way worse than I thought it was going to be. So, and like when they started spraying that in my face, I was like still dying, but you know, like within a few minutes, it just released a lot. You know, I looked at my watch just now, and I don't know exactly when I got sprayed, but I know that when I got pepper sprayed, we were still gargling soap and thinking we're going to die. And so the recovery of this is amazing. Not that necessarily matters with a school violent situation, but yeah, it did exactly what they said. It was very bad, but now I'm fine. Like, I got a little bit of heat, but that's all right. My eyes are totally functional.
And we're going to give him a bottle to go home for when he takes the shower. Okay. Thanks, Levi. So, the product neutralizes, cleans, and soothes. What happened was when Joe came to me and said, hey, I have this super cool pistol-style spray grip that I want you to use. Can you use this in the hospital with pepper spray? I said, no, absolutely can't use pepper spray. You heard from Sheriff Bell why this whole room would be decontaminated and have to leave. You can't do that to function in a school or a hospital. So we made the CS gel. You saw fast, accurate, easy to use. When I said I need something to clean up, he then went to two different chemists that happen to be working in the university launch pad where the entrepreneurs work, who work with detergents. And they put together NCS Fast. This is a specifically designed to draw that product out. So when you use this product, this is your training on this, first of all, you use a ton of it. You don't just spray it on and dab it. And we want to dab it because it's made to draw the product out. So you don't want to wipe. So we spray the heck out of his face, and then we take a clean cloth, and we start to dab that product. That's where he said, okay, I'm starting to feel it relieve a little bit. In the meantime, while he's doing that, I'm just dousing another cloth. The spray head's off, and I'm soaking another cloth, so then he can just hold that against his face. And then he takes that off, I spray him some more, and then we use another clean cloth. That repetition of dousing and blotting helps draw that product out, so you see in 3, 4, 5 minutes, they're back to somewhat normal. It's going to be the same thing with furniture. You know, I know he said act of violence in a school. We're not worried about cleaning it up. But really, in the long run, we have to open our doors and get our kids back to school, right? So whether it's in a hospital, I need to open the clinic back up. School, you need to get the kids back to school. How do we clean that up? So it also works on furniture. It can work on the floor, whatever it might be. Plus, it also dissipates itself. So between the two of them, they work really well. So that's how you use the decontaminant product. So, any other question or concern about when to use it? The going outside and putting your hands on it is key, and I'll tell you what to expect. First, we kind of do it systematically of taking the safety off, and we'll talk about it. There's two safeties. There's a trigger safety, and there's also a thumb safety, and then there's squeeze and shoot. And we'll walk you through that, because then we're going to introduce a little bit of stress, and really that stress is just go, bang, 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 just some gunfire, because we find out what happens, and you maybe heard about this in your run, lock, fight training, during stress. Fine motor skills are gone, and you get nervous, and you get anxiety, and you don't know how to do this stuff. You just forget it. So the hands-on experience works. We're going to go outside and just practice with the safeties a little bit, and then we're going to practice deploying on the target, and we're going to practice with just a little bit of stress. By the end of that, we've had a lot of success with saying you feel safe with knowing when to use it, and you feel safe with knowing how to use it. And these are all the inerts, so you're not going to burn whatsoever. There we go, there we go. Let's go over here, and we'll come back to the target. So just go ahead and give me a line. So there's two safeties. I'll show you how to use both of them, and then you do whatever you feel comfortable with when you're in that classroom or wherever you sit. First off, I'm going to talk about the stabilizer bar. That is just what you want your hand on to keep it from spinning. So that way when you pop out the trigger block, it doesn't spin on you. So just put your hand on that. It also helps you with that accurate spray. So what I want us to first do, and just let it go to the ground, because in a stressful situation, you're not going to want to try to catch this trigger block. Just with your forefinger, go ahead and pop out that trigger block. Then go ahead, use two hands and just go ahead and push on it. Now go ahead and push up your thumb safety. And then with two hands, just point up and over my head, but don't shoot. So with two hands, just like this. The two hands help with the strong, accurate spray. Also, you saw with Levi, I advanced and then I backed up. And it just gives me balance because I'm square, okay? Now, it resets the trigger. So I want you to put the thumb safety back down and then pick up the trigger block and put the trigger block in. Go and pop out the trigger block, push up the thumb safety, point above me, don't shoot. I got shot once right in the chest doing that. Put the thumb safety down. Go ahead and put your trigger block in. We're going to do it one more time. And this time I want you to just do it fast and accurate. Point, don't spray above my head. Ready? Go. Good. Now I'm going to add a little bit of stress because stress slows down those skills and we want to make sure we want to be able to do that, okay? Stress, stress. The people I work with in the hospital all the time are like, no stress, Sean. Okay, same exact thing. You're gonna pop out the trigger block, put up the thumb safety, point above me, don't shoot. Ready? Go, 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 go. Good. Thumb safety off, trigger block back in. Let's move up to the target. Can I have the first three right here, please?
Go, go, go.
So this is about 10 feet away. There is a little bit wind. You'll see how wind impacts it. It's designed to be used inside for the most part, but can be used outside. So, come on, step up, right up to the curb. The first time, I just want you to pop out the trigger safety, push up the thumb safety, point, and shoot. Real life, you're gonna spray until the person drops and begs for forgiveness, like Levi did. Here, I'm just gonna have you spray for a couple of seconds and then have you stop so we can shoot over and over. Okay? Ready? Go. Go ahead and stop. Now we're gonna do a little bit of stress, and just so I'm not freaking anybody out, I'm just gonna push on your back to add that physical stress, okay? Everybody comfortable with that? Ready? Go, 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 go. Good. Go ahead and put the thumb safety down, trigger block back in. Come on up right to the curb. So this is about our 10 feet away. The first time I just want you to do it, I'm not gonna add stress or anything. Pop out the trigger block, push up the thumb, safety, point, and shoot. Real life, you're gonna spray until the person begs for forgiveness. Right now, I'm gonna stop you after a couple seconds just so we can use it a couple times. Okay? Ready? Go. Go ahead and stop. Good job. Thumb safety back down. Trigger block in. Same thing, I'm gonna add a little bit of stress. And all I'm gonna do is push on the top of your shoulders just so you know I'm doing that just to add to the stress, okay? Ready? Go bang, 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 bang! Stop. Thumb safety down, trigger block back in, do it one more time. Go, 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 go! Stop. Good job.